RHOSLC, Mary Cosby desperate for storyline, abuses son's addiction. Fans feel that RHOSLC star Mary Cosby is so desperate for a storyline that she is abusing her son's addiction. He was so candid about his personal struggles, which was heartbreaking. Yet many feel this should have been a private conversation, and their reasons are extremely valid. So what are followers saying? Keep reading for further details. Mary Cosby desperate for storyline, abuses son's addiction. RHOSLC has been a mega hit for Bravo and the Real Housewives franchise. When a new cast and place is introduced, no one knows if it will take off. Luckily, this cast has been so eclectic. It has fans engrossed in their backstories and daily lives. They have all in some way been affiliated with the Mormon Church. Yet cast members like Whitney Rose and Alum, Monica Garcia were excommunicated for extramarital affairs. Lisa Barlow still practices, but in a much more casual way. Then there is Mary Cosby, who caused a stir when it came out she was married to her step-grandfather. She claimed that was in her grandmother's will, but it still seemed odd. Through these nuptials, Mary became the First Lady of Faith Temple Pentecostal Church. She was demoted for Season 4, but in Season 5, she is back and in full Mary mode. Recently, she and her son, Robert Jr., had a candid conversation about his drug struggles. He shared that he was misusing Adderall, Xanax, and OxyContin while combining acid, Molly, and cocaine. This was hard for Mary, but she was very supportive of Robert, 21, who also shared he had suicidal thoughts. Though that was a very beautiful exchange, viewers felt that she was using her son's struggles for a storyline. According to the Express US, former RHONY daughter, Ally Shapiro, daughter of Jill Zarin, spoke out about what transpired between Mary Cosby and her son. Fans are appalled. This scene between Robert and Mary Cosby not only irked Ally Shapiro, but also RHOSLC viewers. They did not think he should have been subjected to the cameras in his darkest hour. It is wild that she allows him to be on the show. If my kid was struggling like that, I'd be damn sure he was nowhere near the cameras. I just watched that scene, and you're right, it was very, very obvious. I am sad that his presumed substance abuse is broadcast on TV. He doesn't seem to be in the state to properly consent. Glad that he seems to be getting some help now. If we didn't know help was on the way, these scenes would be unwatchable, so freaking disturbing. Some did think that this could help others who were going through the same thing. More so, they were grateful Robert had gotten help, but it was still not the right timing for that to be shown. A fractured portrait. Mary Cosby's search for redemption or ratings. The snowy peaks of Salt Lake City had seen their share of drama, but Mary Cosby's re-entry into the chaotic fold of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City brought a storm like no other. The once reclusive spiritual leader, infamous for her quirky one-liners and deeply polarizing presence, had seemingly run out of steam. But if there was one thing Mary knew, it was how to spark intrigue and controversy. This season, however, whispers on the snowy streets were more insidious. Was Mary exploiting her son's struggles to keep herself relevant? A fraught return. Mary's return to the RHOSLC cast was met with mixed reactions. Her eccentricity had been both her charm and her Achilles heel during her initial run. This time, though, she was determined to make a splash. Her storyline, however, seemed thin, relying heavily on exaggerated grievances with her castmates and baffling non-sequiturs. As the cameras rolled, Mary's frustration grew. She needed something more, something that would secure her place as an irreplaceable fixture in the Bravo universe. Enter Robert Jr., her quiet and enigmatic son. The 21-year-old had always shied away from the Bravo spotlight, his subdued nature a stark contrast to his mother's flamboyance. But behind closed doors, Robert Jr. had his own battles. Struggling with substance dependency for years, he had tried to keep his demons hidden. Yet in the relentless world of reality TV, secrets have a way of surfacing. A mother's dilemma or a calculated move. Mary's narrative arc began to shift. She started dropping cryptic comments about family struggles and the price of faith. At first, viewers assumed she was referring to her well-documented issues with her late grandmother's controversial inheritance of the church. But soon, scenes featuring Robert Jr. became more frequent and far more uncomfortable. One particularly raw moment showed Mary confronting her son at their kitchen table. The tension was palpable. Robert Jr., visibly uncomfortable, sat silently as his mother lectured him about his choices. "You can't throw away your life, Robert. God has a plan for you," she said, her tone wavering between genuine concern and performative severity. The camera lingered on Robert's face, capturing his barely contained frustration. "Is this about me, or is this about your show?" he finally asked, his voice cutting through the room like a blade. Mary's stunned silence spoke volumes. Cast reactions, shock and speculation. Behind the scenes, Mary's castmates were buzzing. Whitney Rose, ever the pot stirrer, confided in her confessional, "I don't know what's worse. Mary airing Robert Jr.'s struggles on national TV, or the fact that she seems to be using it as her storyline." Heather Gay, who had recently patched things up with Mary, was torn. "As a mom, my heart breaks for her," she said during a cast dinner. "But as someone who's been in this circle long enough, I can't help but wonder if this is a calculated move." Even Meredith Marks, one of Mary's few remaining allies, seemed conflicted. "Mary's intentions might be good, but the optics are complicated," she said cautiously. The exploitation backlash. As episodes aired, fans took to social media, their reactions as divided as the cast's. Some applauded Mary for shedding light on the challenges of parenting an adult child with addiction issues. Others, however, were less forgiving, accusing her of exploiting her son's pain for the sake of a compelling storyline. One particularly scathing Reddit thread read, "Mary Cosby will stop at nothing to stay on this show. Using her son's addiction as a plot device? Disgusting." Another user countered, "If anything, this shows the raw reality of their lives. Addiction isn't pretty, and maybe this will help someone." The debate raged on, with Bravo fans dissecting every scene, every word, and every tear. Robert Jr.'s breaking point. For Robert Jr., the newfound attention was unbearable. He'd spent years avoiding the limelight, and now his most vulnerable moments were being broadcast to millions. In a rare confessional of his own, he admitted, "I didn't ask for this. I'm trying to figure things out, and having cameras in my face isn't helping." The turning point came during a cast trip to Palm Springs. While the women bickered about seating arrangements and room assignments, Mary received a late-night call from Robert Jr. The producers captured her end of the conversation, her voice trembling as she said, "I didn't mean to hurt you." The next morning, Mary tearfully admitted to Lisa Barlow that Robert Jr. had checked himself into a rehab facility. "He said he needs space. From me, from everything," she confessed. For once, Lisa refrained from her usual biting commentary, simply offering a comforting hug. Redemption or ruin? The season finale painted a complicated picture of Mary Cosby. On one hand, she appeared genuinely remorseful, acknowledging in her final confessional, "Maybe I was too focused on proving I had something worth watching, but at what cost?" On the other, skeptics couldn't ignore the fact that her storyline had dominated the season, keeping her firmly in the spotlight. Bravo's reunion teased even more revelations, with host Andy Cohen promising a deep dive into Mary's controversial decisions. "This season, you faced a lot of backlash," Andy began in the reunion trailer. "Do you think you crossed a line?" Mary's response, a cryptic smile and the words, "God works in mysterious ways," left fans both intrigued and exasperated. A legacy in question. As the snow settled on another tumultuous season of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Mary Cosby's legacy hung in the balance. Was she a mother desperate to save her son, a reality star desperate to save her relevance, or a complicated mix of both? For now, only one thing was certain: Mary Cosby knew how to keep people talking, and that might be the most valuable skill of all in the Bravo universe.